In today's video, we are going to see how to perform SFTP operations to copy files from remote server to Amazon S3 using AWS Lambda function. To perform this activity, we will be transferring files from remote server to Lambda's temporary space, and from there we will be uploading those files to the S3 bucket. As Lambda has a limited temporary space of 512 MB, this method is best suited for transferring trigger or acknowledgement files which are created at the end of a process, or to transfer files with less amount of data in them. We will develop our Lambda function in Python, and for this we need a Python library named Paramiko. I have already created a video which explains in detail how to create this library and the layer. I'll include that link in this video. I have already downloaded the library and created a Lambda layer out of it, which we will reuse in the function. Next, we need to create a remote server which we will imitate using in EC2 instance. And finally, we need a S3 bucket to store the files which we have transferred from the EC2 server. We will reuse or will repurpose this S3 bucket to also store the temp file to log on to the EC2 server, and also we will use the same S3 bucket to store the library, Python library, which is used in the Lambda layer. So this is the setup we need. So let's go to the first part and start with the EC2 instance creation. EC2 console page. For launching an EC2 instance, I have selected the North Virginia region. So let's start with the EC2 instance launch. Let's select the Amazon Linux 2 AMI, T2 Micro. Here I'm not selecting any role. Let's give a name tag. For security group, I'm selecting the basic security group, which has HTTP, HTTPS, and SSH access. And let's launch it. So let me create a new group here, SFTP. And let's launch the instance. Okay, so it is in the pending status. Let's try to log on to the instance. So this is our PEM key. Let's change the permission. So this is the public IP address and the key name. Okay, so we have logged on to the EC2 instance, and this is the present working directory. So let's create a directory named src, or let's call it source directory. So this is the directory where we keep some files which we will be transferring over the SFTP. Let's create some files. Okay, so now we have created the files and our EC2 instance is in running condition. So let's go to the next level where we will be creating the Lambda function. and then we'll start the SFTP process. Start with the Lambda function. Let me give you a quick walkthrough of the bucket we have set up. So this is my bucket, SFTP process bucket. It has three prefixes. First is the key file where I have stored the PEM file for my EC2 instance. It will be downloaded by Lambda in the temp directory and will be used to log on to the EC2 server during the runtime. The second prefix is the Lambda layer where we have stored the library downloaded and it is used in the Lambda layer. Then the third one is the SFTP files directory where the transferred files from the EC2 server will be stored. So this is the bucket setup we have. Then I have created a role for the Lambda function to perform the SFTP operation. It has the basic function of Lambda basic execution role and access to the S3 buckets. So that being said, let's go to the Lambda function and create one. We'll use Python 3.7. We'll use the existing role which we have just created. And let's create the function. So let's change the configuration by updating the runtime or the timeout period to 2 minutes and add a layer. Okay, so we have created the Lambda function. We have added a layer for the Paramiko library. Now let's go to the code which we'll be using for this Lambda function. So I have created a code, a Lambda code, which I'll give you a walkthrough of. I have also uploaded this code in the Git repository, and I'll share the link of this repository with you in this video. So I'll give you a quick walkthrough of what this code performs. So first of all, we are creating the S3 client, which will perform the operations related to the S3 bucket. We are downloading the file, the PEM file which we have uploaded, and it is getting downloaded in the temp directory by Lambda to be reused while logging on to the EC2 instance. Then we are using the Paramiko library and we are creating the SSH client. We are providing the IP address, the public IP address of the EC2 instance, which it will connect to. Then we are providing the directory of the EC2 instance where we have placed our source files and which we want to transfer to the EC2 instance using from the EC2 instance using the Lambda function. We are providing the pattern of the files which should be considered for this transfer. Then we are providing the path. Then we are providing the combination of the path and the pattern to create a list of such files. We open that list in a for loop one by one, and we transfer that file to the temp directory, and from there it gets transferred to the S3 bucket. We have initiated a counter which we increment after each loop to provide a number of files which are transferred from EC2 instance to temp directory of Lambda and then to the S3 bucket. And that count we finally publish at the end of the process. So this is the code we have, and we will use this code in our Lambda function. So let me just copy it. Okay, so now here I have used the IP address which I have from my EC2 instance. You have to select the appropriate IP address, the public IP address, and also you have to select the path of the EC2 instance on EC2 instance you have created and the pattern which you have created. So this is our path, which is home EC2 user source directory. And then I have created some files with the trigger and some with the TRI. So I want to show you that whatever files match the pattern, only those will be migrated and others will not. So I've created files matching pattern as well as anti-pattern. So that being said, let's deploy the code and then we'll start the execution. Okay, so I'm on the test tab of our Lambda function. I have created a new event T1. We don't have to pass on any values, but just I've created the event. So let's test our function. And it has succeeded. So if we see the details, it says two files have been uploaded to S3 bucket. It provides us the name of those files, trigger1.txt and trigger2.txt. If we see, we had three files created, trigger1, trigger2, and TRI. But because TRI was not matching the pattern which we have provided, it has not picked up. So let me quickly show you the pattern we have selected. In the meantime, if we go to our S3 bucket, we will see those files are uploaded. So in the S3 bucket, HFTP files, let me refresh it. And here we have those two files, trigger1.txt, trigger2.txt. So here we have provided the pattern as trigger, hence it has not selected the file with the name TRI. We are also removing the file after the successful transfer of that to S3. So if we go back to our EC2 instance and we say list, I can only see the TRI file, which was the anti-pattern, and it has not migrated or it has not transferred. Rest, the two files which were transferred are now deleted. So that's how we have executed our function. If you see, our function has many hard-coded parameters which may change over the time. So it is advisable to have these parameters converted, these hard codings converted to parameters using the environment variables. So I have done that code as well. So let me just show you that. So this is the code I have created with parameterizing the hard-coded values. It is available in the Git repository, and this is the name of the code. If you see, I have defined these environment variables, and I'm including that in my Lambda code. And in the subsequent sections of the code, I have, instead of hard coding, I have used those parameters. So I have copied this code to my Lambda function. I have deployed it, and I have also created the environment variables. So everything is ready. Now, if you see, I have changed the file pattern to ACKN for acknowledgement. So let's go to test. Let's close the previous result and create some new files. So currently we have only one file TRI. So let's create some new files. So I have created these three files, one with capital ACKN and other two are with small ACKN1 and 3.txt. So if everything goes right, we will be able to transfer these two files and ACKN in capital will not be transferred. So let's execute the code. Okay, it has successfully executed. It is saying two files are transferred and it has provided the file names ACKN1 and ACKN3. If we go back to our EC2 instance, I can see that ACKN in capital has not been transferred. And let's quickly check the S3 bucket. So here we have two files uploaded, ACKN1 and ACKN3. So that's how we have removed the hard coding, and with the parameterized way, we have transferred the files. Now it is providing us the easy way to make changes to the properties which can be modified. To this video, one last point regarding the public IP address we have used. As we know, the public IP address changes when we stop and start the the EC2 instance. So every time we resume the service, the IP address is changed, and you have to update that IP address in the Lambda function. That will be an override to our process. So the other alternative for this is to create the elastic IPs. As we know, elastic IPs are the constants and they don't change. But the only condition is that whenever you create the elastic IP address, associate it with your EC2 instance. If it is not associated, it will be charged. So just ensure that you are following. So let's create the elastic IP address. We are in the US East 1 region, and we have created the IPv4 address. So this is my IP address 44.197.68.21. I will associate this IP address to my running EC2 instance. So it has been associated. Let's go to the EC2 dashboard. Now, if you see, my public IP address is 44.197.68.21, and this will remain constant even if I resume the service. So I have to update this IP address only once in my Lambda function, and then I don't have to worry about what will happen when my EC2 instance restarts or resumes the operations. So that's how I can reduce the changes or the operational activities to this process. I hope you like this video and you learned something new. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.